participation in this session. Let me start briefly by introducing the IFC team. So we have, for us, as a very special occasion, one of our regional management team, Kona, is here. So she's visiting Timor-Leste for the first time, but I'm sure it'll be the first of many times, and is based in Singapore. She will share a little bit in a moment about IFC's work on CCS and more generally on infrastructure development. Sitting next to Vicky, we have colleague Dirk Summer. So Dirk is based here in Singapore. And then just making sure I catch everyone. So we have Jeff Tan, who's the team leader on the CCS project. Frankie, who got us started. We also have Calvin sitting at the back. He's blending in very well. Yeah. And Sunny is sitting even further at the back. Sunny. Oh, he's over there. Okay, he's moving around. Yes. So that's our team that's here with you today. You know, it's really an honor for us to be working with the ministry, with AMP, with the government as a whole on CCS development. We want to make sure that our assistance is as relevant as possible and that we contribute to a successful project and to what I hope will be the beginning of a new industry for the country. So thank you all for being here. Thank you especially to Minister and Presidents. We know that your time is very precious. And so with that, I will invite my colleague Vicky Kona to also share some remarks. Once again, on behalf of IFC, welcome.
Thank you, David. It's really great to be here. I've been here now for 2 days, and I'm very impressed by Timor-Leste. It's beautiful, and I've been in the region for a while, so I feel very bad that I haven't been here before, but I promise I will be back. So thanks for the introduction, David. Your Excellency, Francisco Costa, Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, the Honourable Dino Silva, President of AMP, Mr. Rui Maria Alves Suarez, CEO of Timor GAP, representatives of IGTL, ANLA, President of National Designated Authority for Climate Change, Ambassador of UNFCCC, AIM14, National Maritime Authority, and dear participants. It's great to be here. I'm Vicky Delman. I am the manager for North Asia, and my team covers energy, transport, water, waste, telecoms. So quite a range of different sectors, and we are looking to support Timor-Leste and investments in all of those sectors. Focused on helping both governments and also private sector clients open up markets to the private sector and to develop bankable projects. And so we were very honoured to be asked by the Timor-Leste government a year or so ago to help them think about the transport and storage of CO2 and help them think through what is needed for a legal and regulatory framework, amongst other things. IFC, for those of you who are new to it, is the International Finance Corporation. We are part of the World Bank, and we're the branch which lends money to the private sector. We also have a subnational arm as well. So we work very closely with our World Bank colleagues, and particularly in the context of lower-income countries and fragile conflict states. And our colleagues often on the World Bank side will be promoting policy reforms and changes on that side as well. So we see this as a really key piece of work, both for Timor-Leste but for the region. Carbon capture and storage is still a very nascent concept in terms of regulatory frameworks. It's being developed and evolved in more developed countries, but even there's no real blueprint yet. So Timor-Leste will be trailblazers in developing this work. There's obviously also the challenges of it's relatively new technology and understanding that. Our focus here today is really on helping think through the legal and regulatory issues. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, carbon capture and storage is a key technology that could enable total emission reductions necessary to keep global warming below 2% by the end of the century. But it is obviously complicated and challenging, and so we have come in to provide both support from IFC and also with our World Bank colleagues to carry out an assessment of best practice on the legal and regulatory frameworks required for CO2 transport and storage. And today we'll be sharing that along with benefit sharing models for CO2 transport and storage, framework in Timor-Leste and a gap assessment of that, and then some options and thinking through that. We anticipate that this will provide Timor-Leste with the information and the inputs to start developing its own framework in this space. We've been very honoured to have our consultants, Ashurst's team, along with Silva Teixeira, here today to walk us through the legal and regulatory issues. And we hope this is going to be a very interactive session. We've always seen that it's really important to have something that works for Timor-Leste and that is practical. And so we hope that this is the first step and be able to move in that direction. And thank you very much for your time, for your participation, and I look forward to an energetic and highly participatory workshop. Thank you.
Para ter informação, além de como do Kona, participante militar da questão ministro dos Recursos Minerais, presidente PM e o Mprp, teríamos representantes dos autores relevantes da nessa authority for climate change, ambassador representante do FCC, o secretário de Negócios Estrangeiros, o Federação o IGPL, o Autoridade Marítima Nacional, no secretário de IGPL, just for your information, I want to say from participants among us, there are several participants from the related institutions, National Authority for Environmental Licensing, National Authority for Geoscience, the Timor National Environmental Authority, and also the representative from the support affairs, multilateral affairs, and National Directorate for the pollution control. Following, how convido o respeito da sociedade ministro petróleo e recursos minerais, Sr. Francisco, no discurso. Durante a sessão, as excelentes presidentes for this open remark. Bom dia. Dia, José.
Dia Calai. Obrigado pela oportunidade. Ao cumprimento lá ao teto, depois ao escolher o GST, vamos seria continuar. Dia que a minha suspeita muito presidente da rua, senhora Davi, bem Mr. Timor will be special welcome Señor VP di Territorio o di Delegación Sierra. Vamos a cada complementa, no aprecia, grupo legal Sierra, el liderado Sierra, ex-ministro, señor Zé o minha parceiro Sierra, o setor Sierra, Santos Ministro Sierra, sector privado sudah creado la actividad, pero tenemos entidades de Kirene, AMLA, negar. Si AMLA mengenai abrir problema, AMLA importante de temas, representante del Ministerio Transporte, aportincia de la asesor, problema también es muy importante, que se colegio un protocolo, se puede ser pioneiros perdoar, usi finanças, alfândega ser, na hora de ter na irmão, ele vai se perguntar para a irmã, mas que está se perguntar cara, e está valendo, finanças de direito, e deve caro só que direito é problema bom, ele na lugar, Instituto de Science Timor-Leste komite de parte, mas considerando que está no komite vai Ministério do Interior, representante Sierra, Timor-Leste, Ministério do Interior de Acre, Laia. Economia, Ministro Corredor da Economia, AMLA é o próximo posto também. Sim, ao Timor-Leste, ao BN, ao Caracatu, complementa a ideia que estava no assunto de importância, assunto de previamente, como vai ter necessidade de ver em e ao contexto de preços e o uso da corona e tinha fácil na conta Palma que era para ter todo participar de todo história nível de compreensão dessa negar neve agradecer para o presidente e ter o uso da corona neve na contente deles. Right, getting to the work and the job necessary. Once again, welcome, special welcome to Victoria and the team, and a special appreciation to IFC, working hand in hand with ANPN before and now with ANP to bring all of us to this stage or to this phase of what I call very important and crucial aspect of oil and gas development. The world is moving towards what they call it, I just came back from Abu Dhabi, a world without fossil fuel. So we, the people that work in oil and gas, really have to work very, very hard trying to convince the rest of the world that a world without fossil fuel is not the time yet. The time yet, perhaps, as a question mark for everyone at the time. And in that particular event, I argue that, in fact, the world still needs the oil and gas industry. The world had needed the oil and gas industry for a long time, and it continues to need it. But the industry has to transform itself in a way that can also be sustainable and also be responsible for our planet, in this case the environment. And one way of doing it is in oil and gas. There are many other technologies, but obviously decarbonizing the way the industry works is also one very important element or way of continuing with the oil and gas industry. So CCS has been identified as one way of decarbonizing oil and gas sector, and certainly it's part of decarbonizing the economy in the world. So in that sense, we are very glad as a minister of the sector and happy, much more than happy to have, when I get into my term, I saw that there's always some initiatives ongoing with respect to CCS. When I was the last 3 years outside, I watched from afar how the industry is progressing and moving, how the world is viewing the oil and gas and our economy itself, our civil society, ourselves, and elements of the state, the way we look at our economy and our need to be part of the whole world's movement towards transitional energy. And when an opportunity is there for us to showcase that as part of the energy transition, part of our environmental responsible effort, CCS is also one of the key solutions. And I saw already some work that was there and say, hey, the government program must include CCS in there. The decree law for the whole government should include CCS in there. CCUS. At the moment we're talking only CCS, but of course it could be also CCS, CCUS as well. In fact, for migrants we'll talk later. You can also arguably say that can be also CCUS. So we included that in our degree laws, in the program degree laws, and also in our government ministry degree laws and our respective institutions degree laws. So in terms of laying out the frameworks to make sure that this aspect of the industry or aspect of the program is part of this 9 constitutional government, and it's there already. The next step is really for us to understand completely about the CCUS itself, from technology, science, and the practices in the world, models and all those things. But now we're in the stage of the legal framework, which is crucially important. There are existing initiatives, or I should say, drives towards the CCS, but prior to having those legal framework, it will be difficult to start a meaningful, substantial conversations with those that are interested in getting into the CCS program. So in that sense, I very much support to this sort of initiatives and workshops of today and the next 2 days is crucially important. I call for everyone to participate actively, discuss as much as we can. If I have time, I will also want to sit here for the next 2 days, because I really genuinely wanted to know all aspects of the CCS, because I think CCS is another industry on its own in the future. Everyone in the world is concerned about reducing the CO2 emissions, something that in the past was a waste. Yeah, CO2 is a waste, it's something dirty, etc. Now becoming a commodity in a way to be developed and valued. So let's see. In Timor, we just have a modest aim. Let's solve one at a time. But of course, we have a vision that if it pays, let's work towards industrializing the CCS in the country. From what information that I've got today, indicates that there are plenty of interest in the region, mainly from the areas where we sort of manage it, such as the Timor Sea, but also our neighbors, Australia, Marosa. Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to talk too much, but anyway, I noticed that Santos today, the owner of Marosa, Timor can be, or can be one of solutions to have Marosa 400 gas fields in the region, which has CO2 and so. But also in the future, in Timor-Leste territory, we have challenges. We have China has quite substantial percentage of CO2. Celtic, if we haven't developed in the future, we also have. Maybe also other fields to be discovered in the future with potential CO2. But we also see some changes, so so I can see that there is growing interest in that sense, hopefully that the team is doing with the help of local companies, local law firm, and international law firm, Ashok, yes, very well known. Having this is something that very encouraging, and I'm pleased to know that. So with that note, I thank everyone involved and all the best and successful workshop for the next 2 days. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Para detal kita terima as Association Minister dan Yes, a round of applause for His Excellency. Ya, onde estava continua discussão na apresentação, mas quando nós viemos a uma noite, os Santos no passação a apresentação, agora que vamos among us there is also representative of Santos, and we are going to have the following discussion and presentation that will be led by my friend and Jeff. The stage is yours.
Hello, bom dia. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Very nice to have you all, Your Excellency, on the President, distinguished guest from Timor-Leste. Sekali dulu saya mau maaf sebab saya orang Malaysia, jadi saya kalau cakap bahasa Malaysia, tapi saya belum tahu cakap bahasa itu. Jadi kalau kamu izinkan saya bercakap dalam bahasa Inggris, it's probably better for everybody if I stick to English. While the JV and current operator is setting up, I just wanted to thank you all for your attendance today. I just want to go briefly through the agenda for the morning. First, Santos, as the current operator, will be giving their view on the Biowindan CCS project. Then we'll be having a coffee break. After that, IFC will be presenting and kind of describing what we are doing together with the government of Timor-Leste. But I just want to, and then after that, we'll be presenting into the workshop materials. And I just want to frame that the purpose of this workshop really is to kind of, one initially, thanks to Santos, is really give the message that this is a real project that IFC wants to come deliver. And we're thankful that we have all the stakeholders here today. We want to share the result with you, but also we want to hear your feedback. Because although we can do this kind of study and analysis, and I think it's good work, But at the end of the day, we want to hear from you, we want to hear from the Timor people. How do you feel about it and get your feedback. So I just wanted to make that message today. And it looks like they're ready, so maybe Matt, over to you. Thank you very much.
Ya, untuk naman kami respeto Sr. Minister Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Sr. Francisco Montero, kami respeto ba President NPN, Sr. Gualbino Kona da Silva, kami respeto ba Sr. Timor, Sr. Roy Suarez, kami respeto ba representante do Ministério do Porto, ANLA, Ministério de Finanças, Customs, nomos colega yang tidak harus beri ini, Timor yang beda sehingga tersier orang kita yang beda, kami yang terlihat mereka harus. Ulung yang lain, banyak sampai seminar, hal kami kolega Marcel, hakar satu Amerika Detuan, berkompeti, kodi mai partisipa ia workshop ini. How say how itu sama, depois da kolega Mark Taylor itu bagi pada sisi aslinya. Ini hal berusaha mengenai Renata Pires hingga Timor-Leste Engagement Coordinator, looking after stakeholder engagement, government relations, and local content. How sengaja ini foto ini, tahun ini mengenai Vietnam NASA. Foto ini how hasai kita planta BLNG Darwin. Ini sehari foto ini hanya foto bye-bye deh. Nabi ini spesial los bahau, tambah tidak, how they behave basic finance and university lima, atau how they work is their plan and energy. So this is a special picture for me, extraordinary. It was a tour that we conducted last month in Darwin, PLNG. My very first visit PLNG was like, oh my God, it's a huge facility, and the biggest thing that I've ever seen in my life. In Darwin. I've seen this picture in the videos and on YouTube, but to be there physically and so that it was like amazing a lot. And then we drive through as a tour, part of the tour, and I saw this pipeline, and I said, guys, don't tell me if this is Bayungan pipeline. And then Marcel says, Realiza, it is. This is Bayungan pipeline. And I was suddenly being quiet, and Mark was like, maybe he can read through my eyes that the feeling that I had within me. So he offered me, Rena, do you like to take picture here? And I was like, yes, please. So here is the picture. And thank you. And the feeling, even today, even now I'm standing here and speak, the feeling really is very emotional in me. Because I've been working for this company for 15 years. It's not only contribute to the revenue to the country, but also provide employment and training to Timorese people, and including me. And then at the same time, I also knew that Bayungan is likely to be seized soon. So I was like, what is next for my country? And what is next for the 342 employees that work for this project? And what happened to all the related jobs that provide for this project. So it was the feeling that I had at that time and even today. But then my Vice President, Richard Higley, during the tour, he told me that this is the facility that we are going to install for this CCS project. So a new home is here in CCS. So that's why I'm happy to stand here to open this presentation as a Timorese, as a female woman. I'm so proud to stand here on behalf of company and to work with CCS. Thank you. Santos is a global energy company. It's the biggest domestic supplier in Australia, and LNG in Asia Pacific. Santos also committed to increasingly the low carbon energy and fuel productions with operation in Australia, Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, and North America. So in Timor-Leste, Santos is the foundation partner of the Biodome project and became the operator after the purchase Kona interest back in 2020. Following that completion of the acquisition, in 2021, Santos completed a successfully phase 3C infill campaign, which was the main objective of the campaign was to extend biodome life further for at least 1 year. Fortunately, it's been running today, even as saying that it's likely to be ceased by this year. Santos also continues looking for opportunity to extend by selling gas sales to the domestic gas sales. That's what we thought we're going to do. And then in parallel with that, we also plan to give a new line of biodome as a regional decarbonization hub. So this is Santos' plan. Next, let's say that this project has provided employment. Overseas country nationalities, and then we have 342 Timor-Leste. This consists of onshore and offshore with the service provider for offshore such as operation, marine, maintenance, catering, and hospitality. And onshore related, we have Santos office, Santos logistics, maintenance, heliport, aviation, and catering, hospitality, as well as medical. That's related to this service. We also have again overseas nationality, which is onshore. We have 24, which is our pilots, and offshore it is our technical engineering. And again, Santos is committed to continue mentor our local Timorians so they can be capable in where they are as their goal. So I think this is my a short introduction. I will hand over to Marcel to take us through the presentation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Realiza. I felt emotional when I hear Realiza talk. And yes, I was lucky enough to be with her on the bus. And it was a moment, it was a powerful moment, so thank you for letting me share that moment with you, Realiza. I'm not going to do any justice to that and your presentation for making so many things. I just wanted to again say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today. Thank you, Minister, thank you, Presidents of the AMP and Timor Gap. To all the people here who have taken a lot of time out of your busy day, I really appreciate it, and hopefully you have a fantastic workshop. I have the honour of talking about the Biodome CCS project as being envisioned by the Biodome joint venture. A little bit about myself. I've been working in energy for 25 years. I've done a lot of work in carbon trading, M&A. But in the last 10 years, I've been doing CCS, including CCS for Santos' other CCS project that we have in execution at the moment, Mprp CCS. And that included working with the state government, state government in South Australia on a regulatory framework, as well as working with the federal government to create a carbon credit methodology to enable carbon credits to be able to be created out of the CCS. It's from a timing point of view that the CCS projects at the time needed this additional recognition of the value of emission abatement, emission reductions, and so we weren't able to go FID until we actually had that methodology and project registration. Thank you. This is a slide that nobody can read, I appreciate that, but what it does, it shows lots of articles from predominantly in the last month about what's going on in CCS in the region. And I only searched up Malaysia and Indonesia. So there's also stuff going on in Thailand, and lots of other things. I'm also a member of the GCSI, and they have international workshops on these type of things which I participate in, and I can see it's tangibly has changed. There is a huge amount of momentum, and what I'm trying to say is that it's a contested space. There are people who want to do, who are actively seeking to progress CCS projects, and there are governments that are actively and quickly progressing regulatory frameworks. Every country is different, every regulation is different, but just as a top level point from an operator and a project, there is things that we need to move on, and we'd like to move on to them as quickly as possible. So the joint venture has actually been talking to Timor for a number of years now. So I've just got 2 media releases here that we had put out together with the ANPN back in 2001, and also one this year with Timor GAP in regards to CCS. Now, and we have been progressing discussions on both of these, probably less on the Timor GAP. We look forward to doing that whenever we can. But with that ANPN, we did sort of have been working, so I'm very thankful for that work. But we have been talking for a while. Now, just a little sidestep here is just to talk through a couple of things. And this really comes down to credibility, I think. I'm trying to build a level of credibility as an operator. I did pick up a couple of things about CCS as a technology. I just want to address some of these, which it depends where you come from and how much you look at it, whether or not CCS is proven or not. The way I look at it is that CCS is a series of proven technologies. So each part from the capture, so we've been stripping out CO2 from reservoir gas for 50, 60 years. That technology is known and is done. We've been compressing gases for as long. So that's a proven technology. We've been put into pipelines and making sure that there isn't any leakages for a number of years. And we've actually been storing gases for a long time. You can sort of see here about the storage component for EOR, which is different to what we're looking at, but still has been putting CO2 under the ground for the 70s. Santos has been doing that from a gas point of view for that period of time. And also right down to our Mprp project, which is going to starting up next year, is that as our first large CCS operation. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to say that there are different aspects about CCS. Has it been put together all the time, for a long time in a number of projects? No, I think there's 40 projects out there at the moment, but there's a lot more in the pipeline, and as everybody is the Mprp plant. This is probably almost 6 months ago, this picture, so I apologise for that. But what you can see in the foreground is the CCS project and foundations coming up. So in the background, you can see CO2 trains. I'll just talk. These big things there is what I was talking about through the capture technology. CO2 has been removed from raw gas since the 60s, and Mprp is in the middle of the desert in South Australia, so it's a long way from anywhere. All we're doing is effectively putting a funnel on top of those trains that is already currently venting 1.7 million tonnes of CO2, bringing it over, dehydrating it, compressing it, and then putting it into a pipe and sending it down to reservoirs in the Stretch Lake in Mprp fields about 50 kilometres away. So this is more than 70% complete now. We have all the wells drilled, with the pipeline laid. We're just doing finalised work here at site. And then it'll be ready into production by mid-next year for first injection. So we're very excited about this. We are over-engineering it to make sure that it works. And we're capturing all the lessons that we've learned from this project and putting them to other projects in our portfolio. So to the reason why we're here today is just to talk about the amazing Baywanda field and how, I guess, Santos and the joint venture are considering a project here. So, I apologise because you won't be able to see this, and the grey and white don't work very well. The white is land and the grey is ocean. And what we have here is Darwin, currently where Darwin LNG is, and we have Baywanda over here. Currently, obviously, the Baywanda gas is flowing through the export pipeline down from Baywanda to DLNG, being cleaned, stripped, compressed, chilled, and put on boats to our Asian countries and counterparties. That reservoir is amazing. I think as much about the reservoir as anybody. It keeps on keeping on. I think when I started looking at this, it was going to be finishing in 2022, and everyone was sure of that. But with infill projects, we've been able to keep it going. It is coming to the end of LNG production, so that's why we're trying to think about, well, what can we do with this fantastic resource? Things that are self, obviously Timor Leste is up here. What we're considering about a project here though is that we've gone to market and we've talked to customers, and there is, I think as everybody knows, there are customers that are interested in solutions. Our initial proposal is to capture CO2 in the Darwin area and from international customers, bring it into Darwin, and then send it down the Baywanda pipeline to Baywanda, and safely store in the Baywanda resource. So that is this part here. The chart to the right looks at, I guess, foundation customers. So we also have MOUs for more than 10 million tonnes, which is the current pipeline capacity for the Baywanda pipeline. So there is interest out there, and we have MOUs with 4 customers, including overseas customers, to utilise the facility if it was to progress to FID. Just back, please. Thank you. Also what we have here is another couple of considerations that we're making, which is imports to Darwin, as I said, but then also imports to the platform. And as a consideration for further CO2 storage. The other part we have here is down here, and that's another Santos greenhouse gas permit in Australian waters, which we're moving up. Oh, sorry, absolutely, please. Thank you. This one, yes, is. So this one is G11, so that's a Santos greenhouse gas field that we secured in the acreage rounds last year or the year before. So we're joint venture partners in that field with Chevron and SK. And so we currently have a work program on that one to progress at the moment. That one is an aquifer storage as opposed to a reservoir storage, so the saline aquifer. So slightly different, but so that one's progressed. This one here, the light colour is probably can't see, but that is in Texas, Petrel, greenhouse gas license or acreage that they're looking at as well. So in Darwin, there's actually quite an active and a couple of competing projects even in Darwin for Darwin emissions. These other ones are Santos licenses for hydrocarbon. This one is this is the Ictus pipeline, so I think that's probably Ictus there as well. Let me come back to you. I don't think the blue is all carbon storage. Yeah, so storage is definitely here and here. Let me come back to you because the red is gas production. Bayonne project, we've actually split it up into 4 separate scopes, and this is now talking about the, I guess, the technical work that's been completed and been designated through our dedicated Bayonne project team for CCS. We split it up into 4 different sections. One is the onshore component, so if you think about currently DLNG is liquefying gas. We hope to liquefy Barossa gas as well, and then utilise the capture facilities at DLNG to compress and dehydrate. So there's a whole series of work and a whole team that works just on the capture section. We then move to the pipeline repurposing, and I'll give a snapshot on some of the outputs of some of these things in the next few slides. Then the next is the pipeline repurposing. Obviously, it's currently a 500 and something kilometre pipeline. It's been doing hydrocarbons for over 20 years, so we need to go through and make sure that it's actually safe for CO2, because they are different gases, lots of gases, and not all pipelines are made the same. The next part is the conversion of the platform into CCS. So it's currently a hydrocarbon facility that has lots of things in relation to hydrocarbon. CO2 is a lot simpler. So how do we convert that and make it safe? Also, the gases work differently. So oil and gas industry used to work with flammable gases, and that works in different ways. So the density and everything, so when it's released, it goes up. CO2 doesn't do that. When CO2 comes in the plume, it almost smothers you. So you need different safety issues. One of the ones that we've been working through recently is, okay, how do we have both going there to evacuate? It's because the nature of the gas is different. The little thing to the side of the platform is potential for direct imports. One thing that we're working through at the moment is also the Libertad, the FSO that we have out there, is that able to be used as an import facility. So that's another piece of work. And then the 4th piece of work is obviously the subsurface work. And so I can say there's been an enormous amount of work done on the subsurface to prove up the reservoirs. Next one, thanks. I won't add too much to this apart from saying it's a cool graphic to put it down. This is for non-technical people. But this is just another way of looking at the project as opposed to a pure line diagram. It's talking about here, this is in Dane, and there's actually, we're working with INPEX at the moment to do an kind of to be able to put gas into the pipeline as well. Here's our 500 kilometre pipeline, and here's, of course, the mechanisms that I've done, and just sort of showing how it works. Next one, please, Kona. Here, and please, I know I'm talking a lot, but if there are any questions, interactive is good. There's a couple of key slides in a few slides' time that I would really like to input in. So, technically, this is just going to go through a high-level summary of some of the work that has been done technically. I'm not a technical person, so I'm not able to talk to the slides. I can give you the headlines, but I certainly can't go into detail, so please keep that in mind. So the project is very technically advanced, and it's actually 3 years completed from a technical point of view. Our project team has been working for almost 3 years on this, and as I said, they've been divided into that 4 sections, so there's been a huge power of work on this. This one's just a comment, but it's a world-class storage resource, and we have existing infrastructure and a known operator. I was going to put world-class, but that might be stretching, to capitalise on the decarbonisation goals of the region. So it's a very exciting project, and I'm very excited about it. Next slide, please, Manolo. So again, this is just how we split up the project. I'll start from the right-hand side and move to the left. Subsurface, up to 10 million tonnes injection capacity has been worked through the wells, the monitoring wells, the subsurface, as well as looking at another at least 4 million tonnes for a directing port. So a significant amount of work, and I'll show you those in a second. Integrity assessments have also been done from the wells, looking at each one of those to see which are the key targets to start with.
From an offshore point of view, we've gone through and reviewed all of the facilities, all of the structures to make sure that they're actually safe. There's been a latest mid-ocean data to make sure, and it's compliant with that to make sure it fits until at least 2050. Structural integrity and management plans in place and to maintain those facilities out to 2050. And the materials have been checked and approved for CO2 services. So these have all been validated. From a pipeline point of view as well, the pipeline's been reviewed by DNV to make sure that it actually is conformed and ready for use. We've also looked through the subsea isolation valve and got that accredited to make sure that we need to change. Then from the capture facility is planned and ready. And so it's it's issued for design state. Next one, please. Now these are some fancy pictures for you. So I said Bay Wonder is, for CO2, is a lot less complex than it is for hydrocarbons. If we have to look at our main platforms here, the DPP and the CBQ, you can sort of see the current. And this current is processing systems. So this is how many processing systems we 65 processing systems are the current hydrocarbon aspect that we have. Future state with CCS, it actually only has 37 processing systems, so it's a lot more simple. It's obviously, it's different, so there are other risks, different risks to manage. But from a pure system point of view and a real estate point of view, there's less that's actually required. This is some of the work that's come out from our top sites and what we need to change. There's different things like generators need to change out because it's no longer going to be accessing a gas field to provide the power. There are different chillers, there are CO2 filters, there's radars that are probably required if the FSO is not there. But each one of these have got through our safety study exam and integrity checks to make sure that this is good. So this one is all ready to go. Here's some more of the offshore platforms. So this is some more of the technical work and the models and the outputs from those models. So WP1, life extension, we found that the foundations remain safe for another 25 years. The CUP and the DPP life extension has had the fatigue analysis confirmed that the jackets are safe. We've gone through and done the pipeline CO2 modelling to understand which way that any leaks would happen, what would it mean, where would it go, how would it flow. We've had new current cathodic protection assessment done for the current platform to make sure that the jackets are going to be safe for that extra 25 years. Pipeline materials have been tested and verified by DNV. And this pipeline is actually some of the pipe had those diagrams. We've had DNV check through the pipes and the pipeline coding to make sure that it's going to be suitable for work and operations for CO2. We've also completed, by extent, completion, the inspections have been completed of the pipeline to make sure that it's fit for purpose. And the new subsea isolation valve, as I mentioned. At the moment, the valve opens, goes towards down. Obviously, if there's a reverse flow, we need to change that. That's a very highly technical change and something that the team have been spending a lot of time with to replace out that subsea isolation valve. Next slide, please. Subsurface. I know there's a few subsurface people around there. I do enjoy subsurface. I can't say I always understand it, but I have great confidence in the team that we have. We've looked one at the well integrity. We've looked at each one of the wells and which ones we have candidates for CCS. We've gone through and had a look at the casing. We've gone through to see if the piping is all good and ready to go. So we're sure of our well integrity. The injection modelling has been complete. The geochem and geomech. The plume model is complete. So this is plume modelling of the injection of CO2 through Bay One done through the 5 or 6 wells over a number of years. So that's from, I think, year 1 to year 25. And then there's modelling to see where it's going to go for the next 100 years as well. And we've done a monitoring and verification plan. We're ready to talk to the regulator about how we can actually progress and show what's and verify what's happening in Bay Wonder. Next one, please. And then, probably less of interest, but also the Barossa cattle capturing plant has been designed and accredited, ready for when gas comes to DLNG. Thank you. So, next couple of slides, they're critical timeframes. So this is sort of what I would like to get some discussions, engagement on, but really to give you a project perspective of where we're at. So, and I work in the regulatory space, and my title is market development. So what do? I try and develop markets, and one of the ways that we do that when there aren't any regulations, we need to work with regulators to try and find out a way to make this work. Currently, I'm working in Australia and here in Timor-Leste to try and progress these regulatory matters. So I've listed a number, and this number are the ones that actually keep me awake at night. So the first one is what we're here about today. So that's the Bay Wonder Regulatory and Commercial Package. So, as I said, we've been talking since 2021 in regards to this, and so at the moment we're sort of progressing, and I'm actually very happy with how we're going so far here with the IC work. But our target FID date is Q1 24, if at all possible. So then, to make this happen, we actually have some conditions precedent to actually hit our FID. And these are primary approvals, effectively. And so at the moment, we can't FID until we know what it is that is required here in Timor-Leste in a regulatory and commercial package. So I'll put, and these are all, just playing with PowerPoint, but here I've got where I think what would need to happen to make us FID in Q1 2024. And that would mean that the package would need to, and agreements between the regulator, the Timorese government and the joint venture would need to be put in place. Any approvals that come out of these regulations would also need to, primary approvals would also need to be given. And that again is uncertainty because we don't know what the regulatory framework here is going to be. I'll move to the next one, which is between Australia and Timor-Leste, and that's really around if the vision is the same, but our current vision is to at least initially move gas from Australia or even if it was to put it on a boat and send it to a direct injection, we need to have a bilateral arrangement between Australia and Timor-Leste. I know the Australian government are in conversations with Korea, Singapore and Japan about this. As yet, the progress has not been as fast or as great with Timor-Leste. So that's another thing that we need to do by Q1 2021 to enable us to actually have confidence that we can move the gas between jurisdictions. The next two are really Australian regulatory things that keep me awake at night. The first one is the London Protocol amendments to enable trans-free movement of CO2. That I'm happy to say is progressing, and it's moved from the House of Reps to the Senate. And I'm hopeful by the end of this year that amendments to enable CO2 transfer will occur. And the next one is really the enabling instrument of the London Protocol in Australia, which is called a sea dumping licence or permit. So Australia would need to then validate that the jurisdiction that the CO2 is going to actually enables it to meet its legal obligations under the London Protocol. So this sea dumping licence will be determined on what the regulatory framework is in Timor-Leste, what agreements are in place between the two nations. And Australia is still developing this. So Australia has not done an offshore CCS project. So all these things are untested. This is sort of the dilemma, but the magical dilemma is that this is a world first. This project is giving me a lot of grey hairs, but it is amazing and fascinating. It is a great project to work on because of all these firsts. So I guess my comment I want to make about this is that there are things that need to occur. We know what some of these are, and we're here, and we really would like to engage. But timely approvals are a critical part, as they were for MPRP in South Australia. Next slide, please. So, what does this mean for the project specifically? And there's a couple of things that I know we've met with SK, and we have a lot of other joint venture partners that are very keen to progress. But what does it actually mean? I just want to step you through a couple of things here in this chart. Not to do anything else, but to provide information for the sessions of the next coming days. What we have here first is LNG production coming into Karbono LNG. That is progressing. We think it's going to go below the LNG threshold limit to keep a plant safe soon. What that means, I'm not sure. We thought it was going to be soon for us, 1 to 2 years, but it is coming very soon. After that, we talked about, and Ronaldo talked about, the production extension, and that's through the potential to sell Timor gas to the Darwin domestic market. That would enable the project to, phase one, to complete, to continue, which the gas is just one part of it. The gas we need to find an outlet for so we can actually keep producing the liquids that come from phase one. There'll be a point in time when that stops. And after that, we have something called suspension of operations. So once there's no more gas to be taken out of the Karbono reservoir for the market, we then basically clean the platform of all hydrocarbons to make it safe. After that, we're at a decision point. Our decision point is, what do we do? Do we go CCS or do we go decommissioning? It's a fairly binary decision. To give you the headlines here, that decision is something that we need to make together. The difference between the CCS option, certainly for the platform, and the decommissioning option, is whether the platform is manned. So under our decommissioning agreement, we have a level of care and maintenance to make sure that the platform is safe until we decommission it. That is very minimal just to make sure it's safe. Under the CCS option, we need to make sure that that platform is fit for purpose for CCS for another 50 years. That means it needs to be a manned platform. That means there needs to be people there 24/7 doing fabric maintenance. This is at a cost of $80 million. My joint venture partners say to me, at the moment, I have a decision coming up in Q4, that's here, when I talk about budgets. Okay, joint venture, what are we going to be doing? Are we going to be doing CCS option, therefore I need to forecast another $80 million for spend, or are we doing decommissioning? Everyone is very keen on the CCS option. Unfortunately, at the moment, we don't have a project.